Aging, often seen as a destination, is actually a new beginning. Many look at it with some apprehension, as if time has stopped being an ally and become an enemy. But what if, instead of seeing old age as an end, we started to see it as a journey? A journey that, like a classic car, requires care and attention to keep running with elegance and longevity. Let's imagine a vintage car, the kind you see in exhibitions, with its metallic shine and refined lines, that's already been on many roads and had many experiences. A car like that isn't just parked waiting for time to pass. It needs constant care, regular checkups, replacement parts, and quality fuel. Without that care, the car wears down and its beauty fades. The same goes for our bodies and minds. When we reach our golden years, we're not broken. On the contrary, we're at a point in life where our wisdom and experience are invaluable. But just like that car, we need to make sure we're getting continuous, quality maintenance. The secret isn't to stop living, but to make conscious choices so we can continue to live with the same intensity and satisfaction as before. After all, aging isn't about losing your youth. It's simply making room for new forms of pleasure and fulfillment. Before we start reflecting on the mistakes that can harm our aging process and our journey, I invite you to take an important step. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with those you know need to hear these reflections. In the comments, also share what you think about this aging process. What are your biggest challenges at this stage? Let's go down this road together. Now let's start analyzing the mistakes many men make as they get older. Mistake 1, dating significantly younger people. This is a mistake that often comes up, especially in an attempt to stay young or relevant. Many older men try to connect with people much younger than themselves, whether in friendships or romantic relationships, without realizing the generational gap that exists between these two realities. Let's use a cell phone analogy. Imagine your old phone still works, but it's outdated. It tries to run the newest apps, but with every click, it freezes, the screen gets super slow, and suddenly it doesn't respond as it should. The phone starts to fail because it's no longer up to date enough to handle the demands of the modern apps. That's the risk of an older man trying to connect with someone much younger without considering the huge difference in life experiences. This difference creates more than just simple discomfort. It can trigger frustration, misunderstandings, and even deep emotional imbalance. The expectations and values of younger generations can be very different from those who have lived many decades. And that's not a bad thing, but it's a reality that needs to be faced. An older man, for example, may have a much greater focus on stability and traditions, while a young person may be looking for freedom and new experiences without as much concern for stability. This can create a distance that's difficult to overcome, and often the result is unnecessary emotional strain. Therefore, there's no problem at all in having friends or even relationships with younger people, but you need to be realistic about the communication and connection difficulties that may arise. For relationships to be healthy, they require a foundation of mutual understanding, and that needs to be cultivated on both sides. When we try to force ourselves to live a reality that's no longer ours, we end up sacrificing our true essence and often causing more suffering than pleasure. If you've ever been through something similar or found yourself trying to adapt to a relationship with a much younger person, comment below and share your experience. Let's talk about it. And if you're enjoying the content so far, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and share this video with those who could also benefit from this knowledge. Remember, we're stronger together. Mistake 2, living to please others. Now, let's talk about a mistake that's often silent but devastating, living to please others. This mistake is like building a house with materials that aren't the best, just because other people said it was the right thing to do. The facade of the house may look beautiful, but inside, everything is poorly structured. Constantly living to please others may seem like a noble attitude at first, an effort to maintain harmony and please those we love. But when we look closer, we may realize that by trying to please everyone, we're forgetting to please ourselves. Over time, this weakens our self-esteem. We start to live in the shadow of other people's expectations, and our true identity fades away, left behind. The house we built, which should be a reflection of who we are, begins to crumble without solid foundations. This is a mistake that many make in old age, trying to please children, friends, colleagues, without realizing that in the end, our own happiness and peace of mind are what suffer. It's important to understand that pleasing others shouldn't be our main motivation. True happiness in our golden years comes from self-knowledge, from living according to our own values, tastes, and desires. This doesn't mean being selfish or disregarding others, but rather maintaining authenticity and emotional health. When we live authentically, we attract people who truly accept and respect us for who we are. Have you ever felt pressured to please others at some point in your life? What did it do to your self-esteem and happiness? Leave it in the comments. Let's continue this conversation. And if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We have much more ahead, and you won't want to miss it. Mistake 3. Blindly trusting everyone. One of the biggest mistakes that can be made in our golden years is blindly trusting everyone around us. Over time, experience and the desire to maintain relationships can make us more open, more trusting of people, but also more vulnerable. The human mind is like a safe. We keep our emotions, our stories, and often our resources inside. The problem arises when the key to that safe is given to someone without first thinking about the consequences. When we trust too much, without making the proper assessments, we run serious risks. It's not uncommon to see older men being victims of financial fraud, emotional manipulation, or even being deceived by people who take advantage of their good faith. Trust is something precious and should not be distributed indiscriminately. Unfortunately, sometimes generosity and the willingness to believe in the good intentions of others blind us to the fact that not everyone has the same intentions as we do. In our journey through life, we learn to distinguish who really deserves our trust and who can harm us. And when we reach old age, that skill needs to be improved. Trust should be built over time and with consistent actions, and cannot be given blindly and immediately. The vulnerability that comes with age requires firmer protection, especially when it comes to financial or health matters. We need to protect our minds, our decisions, our resources, just as we would protect something valuable. After all, blind trust is not only risky, it can be devastating. Have you ever been in a situation where you blindly trusted someone and it caused you problems? How did you deal with it? Leave it in the comments. We want to hear your story and learn together. And of course, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Our journey together continues, and you won't want to miss the next reflections. Mistake 4. Social isolation. Social isolation is one of the most dangerous mistakes someone can make in their golden years. When we distance ourselves from others, whether by choice or due to external circumstances, something starts to die inside us. Loneliness isn't just a physical void, it's also an emotional and cognitive loss. Let's think of it in a simple way. Imagine your cell phone signal starts to fail. You try to send a message, call someone, but the signal just doesn't go through. The connection is lost. And that's what happens to us when we isolate ourselves. We lose connection with the world, with people, and often with ourselves. Loneliness has a profound impact on mental and physical health. Studies show that lack of social interaction can increase the risk of depression, anxiety, and even physical illnesses like heart disease. Isolation doesn't just affect the spirit, it affects our biology. When we interact with others, our brain releases feel-good hormones, such as oxytocin, which helps reduce stress and improve our mood. Social interaction is one of the keys to a healthy and happy old age. And it's not just about casual interactions. We're talking about meaningful relationships that bring emotional and intellectual support. If you start to drift away, the tendency is that your mind and body will also wear out faster. Maintaining friendships, being part of social groups, participating in community activities are ways to keep the signal always strong, to ensure you remain connected with the world. Often, isolation begins silently. It may start with a simple disinterest in leaving the house, or with a lack of motivation to stay in touch with friends and family. But when we realize it, we're already in a situation where loneliness has taken over. And the sooner we become aware of this, the easier it will be to reverse. The key is to allow yourself to be present in the lives of others, to not let time pass without interacting, without sharing experiences and feelings. I know that often it can seem difficult to get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes loneliness seems like the easiest option, but the truth is that it weakens us in ways we can't even imagine. So I challenge you, seek social interaction today. Connect with someone, whether by message, phone call, or even a visit. It can make a huge difference in your day. And speaking of that, share in the comments what your social life has been like in your golden years. How have you been dealing with loneliness? Maybe what you say will help someone take the first step to change that situation. If you're enjoying the content so far, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. There's much more to come, and together we can create a community of mutual support. Mistake 5, neglecting personal health. In their golden years, many men begin to neglect their own health. It's not uncommon to hear stories of people who stopped getting regular checkups, ignored small signs from their body, and thought that illnesses were simply part of the process. But health doesn't work that way. Just like a house, which needs constant maintenance to prevent major damage, our body also requires continuous care to stay in good shape. Ignoring warning signs, ignoring the need for medical consultations and periodic exams can be fatal. Imagine the following situation. You have a house that over time begins to show cracks in the walls and leaks in the roof. If you don't make the necessary repairs from the beginning, these small flaws can turn into much more serious problems. The same goes for health. Ignoring a small discomfort, a pain here or there, may be the first sign of a bigger problem. Many diseases, such as cancer or heart problems, develop silently, and the only way to detect them early is by having regular checkups and maintaining constant medical follow-up. The good news is that nowadays we have more access to information and medical care than ever before. Preventive medicine, when applied correctly, can significantly increase the quality and longevity of our lives. The key is to adopt healthy habits, such as a balanced diet, physical activity, and, of course, routine medical checkups. Prevention is always better than cure, and investing in health today is guaranteeing a healthier and regret-free tomorrow. Health is, without a doubt, our greatest asset. If you've ever been in a situation where you neglected your health and then had to deal with the consequences, share your experience in the comments. Your story can serve as a warning and help someone take a more conscious action. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take advantage now to do so. Leave your like as well, because we have many more tips and reflections for your journey. Stay with us. Mistake 6. Overusing medications for sexual performance. Another common mistake that can arise in our golden years is the overuse of medications for sexual performance. While erectile dysfunction is a legitimate concern for many men as they age, the solution isn't always to resort to medications at first glance. The comparison here is like trying to fix a car with non-original parts. The car may even work for a while, but you're compromising its longevity and safety. In the case of sexual health, the indiscriminate use of medications can lead to a number of unwanted side effects and even become psychologically addictive. The pharmaceutical industry offers quick solutions, but they don't address the root of the problem. Many men, when they feel the loss of sexual vitality, choose to resort to medications without understanding that these remedies don't treat the underlying causes of the dysfunction. The problem may be in factors such as stress, diet, lack of physical exercise, or even emotional issues that aren't resolved. Using medications without medical guidance can lead to serious complications such as hypertension, heart problems, psychological dependence, and even dysfunctions in sexual performance itself. The key here is to seek a more holistic approach to sexual health. Consult a specialized doctor, get tested to understand the cause of the problem, and when necessary, look for alternative treatments that involve therapy, dietary changes, and exercise. Medication should be a last resort and always under professional guidance. Have you ever thought about how the indiscriminate use of medication can affect your health? If you've had experiences with this or know someone who has gone through something similar, share it in the comments. Together, we can learn and find healthier ways to deal with these issues. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to continue with more tips that can transform your life. Mistake 7, making impulsive sexual decisions. We've reached the last mistake, but no less important. Making impulsive sexual decisions can be extremely harmful, both for your body and your emotions. Sexuality in older age can be one of the most challenging and, at the same time, most rewarding areas. But as in any other phase of life, making impulsive decisions without reflecting on the consequences can cause deep regrets. Imagine you're sending a message without thinking it through. It could be something simple, like a text on WhatsApp, but when read by the recipient, it creates a misunderstanding. The impact of this can be significant, affecting your image, your relationship, or even your emotional health. Similarly, when we make impulsive sexual decisions without considering our physical, emotional, and social health, we are creating a risky scenario. Sex is not just a physical act, but also involves emotional, psychological, and of course, physical health issues. Hasty decisions, such as not using protection or engaging in casual sexual relationships without proper care, can lead to sexually transmitted diseases, regrets, and even situations that affect self-esteem. In older age, it is even more important that sexual decisions are made consciously. This includes using protection, clear communication with your partner, and respect for each other's limits and desires. It's not about repressing impulses, but about understanding that, with age, responsibility for our health and well-being is even more crucial. Have you ever regretted an impulsive decision in this regard? How did you deal with it? Share your experience in the comments. Let's talk about how to make more conscious and healthy choices for our sex life. If you've made it this far, you already know the importance of reflecting on the mistakes we can make as we age. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your like for more content like this. We are almost at the conclusion, and you won't want to miss what we have to say about how to live a full and meaningful old age. Now that we've gone through some of the most common mistakes men make in older age, it's time to reflect on how we can avoid these pitfalls and ensure a fuller and more satisfying old age. Throughout our journey, the wisdom we have acquired over the years is valuable, but to take advantage of it in the best way, it is essential that we make conscious, well-founded decisions that prioritize our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Avoiding the mistakes of dating people much younger, living to please others, blindly trusting anyone, isolating yourself socially, neglecting your health, using medication imprudently, and making impulsive sexual decisions can be the key to a longer, healthier, and happier life. These decisions may seem small at first, but they accumulate over time and have a major impact on our quality of life. Therefore, we cannot let time pass without reflecting on the choices we make and the consequences of those choices. Old age should be seen not as an end, but as a new stage, full of new opportunities. A stage that can be much more rewarding than we imagine, if we make the right choices. The wisdom acquired, the life experience, the ability to reflect and understand what really matters make this phase unique. And it is precisely this phase that deserves to be lived to the fullest, with health, balance, and true relationships. The good news is that even if you've already made some of these mistakes, it's never too late to reverse the situation. Changes begin from the moment we become aware of them. You can start now, taking care of yourself, making more conscious decisions, and seeking support when necessary. It's not about being perfect, but about seeking the best for yourself, allowing yourself to live well and with quality in all areas of life. Now, I want to invite you to reflect. Which of these mistakes resonated most with you? What decisions do you feel you need to review to ensure a healthier and more satisfying old age? I would love to know your opinion, so be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. This is a space for us to learn together, and your experience can inspire others to change their paths as well. And if you've made it this far and felt that the content was useful, be sure to subscribe to the channel to continue following more videos like this. Also, leave your like, as this helps a lot to bring more people to this important discussion. Share with friends or family members who may also benefit from these reflections. And remember, taking care of yourself, making conscious choices, and investing in well-being is always the first step towards a richer and more meaningful life. If you want more content to help transform your life and age with more health and wisdom, stay tuned. We are just beginning our learning journey together. See you in the next video.